All right. I am here with Schuyler Reidel, who is answering some frequently asked questions about the FDD. So thank you, Schuyler. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Good to be back.
All right. So today we're going to get some of the questions I wanted to touch on are things that are almost out of bounds or to you and I may make sense. Like, no, I can't tell you that. But I just kind of want to talk about the one talking about the other day. Hey, Schuyler, you've looked at this FDD, you know this brand. Should I buy it?
Sure. Yeah, there's quite a few questions around that. Should I buy it or is it a good investment? And related questions, right? Is this dangerous or risky? Things like that. Now, I can give you somewhat of an understanding of the risk based around the franchise disclosure, but those types of questions are not something that I'm going to have insight into. My role is to educate you about the legal obligations. And find success is where when you take those legal obligations and that understanding and plug it into your business analysis and the business equation is what I call it that clients and candidates
Okay.
go through, right? Because I'm not going to know your local market. I'm not going to know the specific qualities or characteristics of a target demographic. For example, I just read a FTD for a payroll company. We had a conversation with a client about what their target demographic is, right? Is it the micro small business, which probably use online tools these days for payroll, or is it small and medium sized businesses? Is it 20 plus employees? Is it 50 plus employees? Because a lot of that was based around their territory, right? Their territory was based on qualified businesses and target demographic. So having an understanding of that and helping the client think through those questions that they have to answer themselves or will answer with a business consultant who's local and knows this industry, that's the key. My role in helping them understand what the legal requirements are and what the risks to those are and how to maybe mitigate those legal risks, right? So I hope that
Okay.
gives you some context behind it. Those are questions that I'm happy to answer qualified, right? I can't tell you that, but here's where you can go to find these answers. And we usually direct them
Nice.
to business consultants or the SCORE program, just a tremendous tool that we have in the US, SCORE, it's score.org, funded by the SBA. Most of what they do is free and it's business mentorship, as simple as that. And it's all across the country. They can help with that business analysis.
So now you're the attorney. You're going to help me negotiate this contract, right?
So this, some attorneys do, and some, I think, probably a fair share of us franchise attorneys don't. And there's rationale behind that. So in franchise agreements and FDDs, most of what is there is not going to change, right? Regardless of what your perspective is or opinion or what you're buying in a system, most of it will not change. So again, that burden that we have as franchise attorneys is helping you understand what's common, what's typical, what's industry practices, and what's probably not going to change. And then laser focusing in on maybe some specific topics or specific concerns that a candidate or client may have, and finding if there is any flexibility on a topic in the franchise agreement or outside of the franchise agreement, right? So sometimes, for instance, the personal guarantee, probably not going to change in a lot of probably 90% of franchise agreements now. But there are steps you can take outside of the franchise agreement to mitigate the risk of you signing a personal guarantee, right? So we help talk about some of those aspects of it and
Okay.
point them in the right direction. So in general, we don't help negotiate as in regards to us taking lead, but we can coach you through the questions to ask. We help you understand those obligations and the potential risks that may be there and help you think about a framework for how to mitigate those risks, whether it is changing the franchise agreement or something outside of the agreement that you can do estate planning or setting up an LLC or whatever that is to mitigate the risks and the concerns that you have as a franchisee. So that's a long answer to something as simple as it depends, right?
No, but that's important because I think it's an attorney. They're like, okay, well, then we're going to negotiate, right? They're going to redline stuff and we're going to go back and forth. And I think it's important for me to get that across, but then also just to kind of let people know that it's generally not attorneys talking to attorneys.
Attorney to attorney is typically not so efficient. Even if a client tries to insist upon that, I explain to them, and a lot of this is pre-client conversations, right? I explain to them, look, you're going to get a way better deal if we coach you through these questions and you get the salespeople to say yes. And then the salespeople have to explain to their franchise lawyer or their team what changes have to go into it, right? As opposed to the lawyers talking, and there's usually a lot of context missing when the two lawyers are facing each other. It's like, well, I don't know what our clients talk to each other about. We don't know what's important other than these few items that they've given us. And so it's much more productive of a conversation, in my opinion, when our clients are dealing directly with the salespeople, with us behind the scenes, and coaching them through the important questions and a framework for how to request things.
That's perfect. Thank you.